My name is Brian Jeffrey. I'll be your host. Oh, you're going to see lots of personality. Ready? So you tell me when to start. So, okay, we're going to start out with the basics of ice fishing. And in my theories of ice fishing, the first basic is how thick is the ice? Okay? Don't be the first one to go out on the ice ever, because you'll be the first one to fall through the ice. My rule of thought is go and watch and see if there's a city of people out there first. If you're gonna go solo, 4 inches is a must. And if you're gonna go solo, just make sure that you have some of the basics. Okay, so what I would start out with is, of course, very important. And if you're going for the first time in, you think that the ice is gonna be thin, put a life jacket on. It'll be a smart maneuver, okay? So what I like to do with this, my rope, as you will see in my sled, my rope is long, but it's not that long. So if I was to fall through the ice, this is wrapped around me, and I have a flotation device. And this right here, if you can see, springs. Well, why do you want that to spring, you'd say? Because if this gets caught underneath the ice and you got this solid, it's not going to pop out, friends. But with this little spring in action, when this gets caught under the ice, you pop this pops backwards, this comes out, and this not only is, this can save your life, okay? So, with that being said, another must is a good pair of traction cleats. Okay, this is just a cheap pair, an extra pair. Always like to have 2 pairs because you know one of your dummy friends isn't going to have a pair. Here's my setup right here. Now, I just bought these. These should go good. You can see they retract. These should go through the snow famously. Couple other things. Now, take a look over here, my suit. This suit is designed that if you fall through, this suit floats, okay? And this gear is good to 30 below zero. So sometimes you don't really want to wear this heavy gear. I have other suits, because as you get into this year after year after year, you are going to accumulate a lot of gear. Again, there's a couple of things I never leave without. First aid kit. This could save you a day. And I got other, very important. You never know when Mother Nature's going to call. We are all human. All right, now. I also have over here some more safety gear. Obviously a knife, hooks go in skin. This gets them out, okay? Why would I have glue? Well, when you slice yourself out there, you take this, all of this, very helpful, could save your life. These are always in my pocket, just in case you fall through. So this, like this, onto the ice to pull yourself, and never try to pull yourself up from your chest. Slide on the ice, because if you pull yourself up, you're just going to continue to go through. And what's that saying? Repeating something and getting a different result? Oh yeah, insanity. But if you are an ice fisherman, you will become insane. Okay, so now we're going to go down to the next basic thing, and that's a drill. Me, myself, I was one of the stupid ones, and it took me a while to learn. I use this DeWalt drill, and this is a 20, I believe that's volt, but in this day and age, it's going to say AVH, I believe. I tried to do the conversion from volt to AVH. I went to Chelsea High School, not MIT. But trust me. And so what you do is you buy this. Now, okay, folks, let me tell you something. When I seen this in the store, I laughed. Because sometimes I don't want to break my arm patting myself on the back, but I do fish in extreme conditions. And when you are facing 18 inches of ice, and you look at this contraption, I think you would have to laugh. So, let's see what we got here. Am I missing something? I knew I was. Okay, I know. Keep the laughter to a minimum. Because believe me, folks, this does work. So you take this, you put... All right, sometimes this is where the frustration comes in. Because this is my... All righty. This is the first time this year I'm putting this together. But if I'm going to get frustrated, I'd much rather get frustrated here than out in the howling winds. Okay, so now, just take this, slide that on there. And this is very important, folks. When you're putting this contraption together, especially when it's 12 degrees outside, keep your hands clear, because when this thing spins around and whacks your finger in 12 degrees, it hurts. Kaboom! Like I said. So, now, if I had my finger there, that would have hurt. Okay. So now, this, as you can see, one finger, one finger. All right, I'm cheating a little, but that's just to prove a point. My other auger, I can't say the name, rhymes with iffy, and it's an iffy 30, and it has the number 30 because that's how much it weighs. Okay, so this is 3 pounds. The other auger is 30 pounds. Which one would you rather carry? And also there are many, many, many benefits to this. You see this? Don't be a dummy and say, oh, how sharp is that? Because I'm the dummy that said that, okay? I'm trying to relay my stupidity upon yous. Very, very, very sharp. And with this contraption here, 6 inches of ice, on this 20-volt Equality 5 AH battery, you can get 30 holes at 6 inches. The good thing about this is that it has, I have 3 batteries, so even if the ice is 21 inches, I can at least, with this, get 10 holes of 21 inches. What I'm trying to say to you folks is don't kill yourself. Go out and make this investment. Drill, 99 bucks. This, $105 at a very famous bass fishing establishment. Okay, so I'm sure that I haven't covered everything there because there are different settings that you can put this on for ice thickness and torque. All right, now let us get to the business at hand. After you drill your hole, your next thing is getting the ice out of the hole. Very, very important. You know how many times I've showed up to the lake without one of these contraptions? You can't leave. You get cold hands, or you're trying to figure out some way to jerry-rig something to get the ice out of the holes. Well, this is the easiest and most effective way. Another very important thing here, let me move all this goody stuff. Now, all of this obviously would be packed away in various pouches. And over the years, I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I got pouches that I have no idea what's in them, and that's going to happen to you. That's my little grandbaby over there, the youngest member of the Tiajuana Trash. He's just coming in to get some lessons. Very important to keep your bait alive. I like an insulated bait bucket, and I do have a air pump that goes in there. You know, like I said, after 30 years, you don't remember where all the inventory is. So now let us get down to the basic in hands. Okay, so as you can see over here, I've got lined up just a couple of different styles of fishing that you can do. Me, myself, I'm like everybody else, I'm lazy. So what I like to do is I just plop it in the hole and go sit back with my buds and drill and do whatever it is that we're supposed to be doing. So now, let me tell you, this is the best tip-up that you can buy for your money. Maybe $17 to $20. Great thing about this, see right there, automatic drag. Simple, so simple a caveman can do it. And a lot of these come pre-spooled, so you don't have to deal with putting online, because putting online can be very frustrating, and I'm going to show you that in a minute, okay? So this is a great overall tip-up, okay? If you're going to go fishing in the wind, and it's really, 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 really windy, okay, I like these ones, okay? Now, Chris, when you open it up, and what I'm going to show you here is, let me deploy this flag, and I'll show you why that this is a great wind tip-up. But I will tell you one thing about these tip-ups is you have to make sure that these mechanisms all line up or they won't work. If you look right here, you got that little clasp on the top of this flag. You got that little split shot O-ring. So what you do is you hold the bottom there, and you put that inside there. Now, a freaking hurricane can come through. This flag's not going to go off, okay? So with these flags, and as you can see what would happen, as you can see, negativity. So we've had our first conundrum. Okay, so like I said, there you go. Now we'll go to this tip up here. These are great tip ups right here. Okay. And again, these tip ups, when you buy these tip ups, and one of the reasons why I like these is they fit in your bag famously. They don't get tangled. And when you buy these tip ups, pre-strung, very, I couldn't even begin to tell you how important that is because you will get frustrated. And this right here, if you like to put a rod out, this apparatus comes with, there's a little mechanism here, you bend your rod. I don't really like to do it that way because you get a lot of false hits and wind hits. So I just put the rod in and sit next. This goes right next to the barbecue. When it bends, you put a little jingle bell on it. So when it bends, you hear the jingle bell and you're off to the races. Now, so you're wondering, why do I have a fishing rod out here? I'm going to save you folks some money, and this is what I do. This is last year's braid from striper fishing, which, again, I don't want to sound like I'm the greatest fisherman ever, but I probably caught more stripers out of Chelsea Creek than any man alive. So what I like to do is this line, instead of going into the trash, because braid does not disintegrate, it stays in the environment for years and years and years. You want to kill fish? You want to kill birds? Leave your braid out. So what I'm trying to say is after it's all said and done, take your braid out of the environment. This is sort of a poor man's, or fisherman's way of recycling this braid. And I'm going to show you another little trick. Kid scissors, cut braid. Kid scissors, okay? That's my leader from last year. We'll dispose of that in a recyclable situation. So now what I'm going to do with this is I'll look for one that doesn't have a lot of line on it. One thing about ice fishing, folks, once you spool something with braid, that braid can stay on your ice reel for years and years. This is braid. This has got to be 10 years old. When it first this is the first inklings of spider wire. But I will say one thing, when you especially if you think you got a big fish on, put on gloves, because this will cut you like a knife. I mean, you can, in a survival situation, if you double this up, you could probably cut small saplings with this, okay? So what I like to do, and you can see this is my business end, just a regular J-hook to 20-pound Cajun line, okay? And I like to use red line. Why do you like to use red line? Well, everything that eats blood. There's blood in everything, okay? Red is the signal of blood. It's just something that I do, okay? Is it going to work for you? I don't know, because a lot of times going out is just a confidence thing. If you're confident, good things will happen. So let me, again, use my children's. Who would have ever thought, right? Who would have ever thought that children's scissors? All right, and put this over here where I don't step on. One thing about the trash, folks, when I make a mistake, it won't be edited. So you might see blood, you might see hooks. Who knows? We've been very fortunate over the years not to really have any serious injuries in the field. I'm thinking, so the trash, believe it or not, was a wiffle ball team back in 1970. That's why you see here it says established in 1970. Well, in 1970, I was only 7 years old. But I'm the one who came up with the concept of the Tiajuana Trash one day while we were having a wiffle ball game, getting our heads beat in. Herb Albert in the Tiajuana Brass was a very big popular band back then. One thing led to another. The Chelsea Roots just come out, and here we are. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. We're going to go now. And this is a little not that, I'm not going to say that I invented, but I did sort of make it up in my mind that, I will say, folks, I think about fishing 24 hours a day, 6 days a week. So what I call this is a double simple. And if I screw this knot up, folks, you're going to see me screw it up. So what I do is I just take a simple clinch knot, and I like to sort of tie the thicker of the two together. And one thing, folks, never use mono on your ice fishing gear. The only thing mono was good for in ice fishing is a leader, okay? What I'm going to do now, just loop this over, very simple, just like a cinch knot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you want to do it 6 times, not 5, not 7, 6. Very, very important. Through there, okay. Now we just repeat the process with the thin line. They say, folks, when you get old, the first thing that goes is the eyes. I can attest. And when you're doing this with fluorocarbon, friends, it's a real hard situation because you can't see the fluorocarbon. Okay, 5. I believe that was 6. I don't want to go against my own. All right, slide that through there. Slide that through there. Grab the tags and pull. Okay, now, a lot of people might tie a little knot there. Just a little overhand knot. I don't think you need that. Okay, now we're just going to cut off these tag ends. I don't know how many times I've thought I was going to cut the tag end, and of course, you cut the main line, and guess what you got to do? All over again. So I got the 2 tag ends here. Get my scissors. Okay, and now I'm going to show you a little trick. This is one that you pull out of your arsenal after years and years and years. Glue, just put a little glue right on there. Make sure you don't get any on your fingers because you know how many times that's happened over the years. I gotta say, that's not fun. And if you do get glue on your fingers, fingernail polish remover is great, but it leaves a funny residue. Okay, so we'll give this a little. Okay, so let me tell you something, folks. Godzilla's not breaking that knot. It's a little cumbersome when you go into a raw guide because you got that tag end, but you can cut that super short. This is ice fishing. This tag end's never going to see the light of day. Unless, of course, what you should always do when you're ice fishing, when you're putting on new line, because this could be matting. So once you got your line on the spool, take 2 or 3 turns, all right? For demonstration purposes, this is already full. So we're just going to act like this was a bare spool. Yeah, first stupid thing today. So the bead, I love to fish with beads when I ice fish. The bead, the knot, of course. So, like I said, for a stupid move of the day, which means I will have to, cut this knot and try it again. So now, I already said that we're not gonna cut out any of the blunders, but guess what? Yep, first stupid mistake of the day. And let me tell you something, folks, there'll be plenty of them. I made that mistake on purpose so I could show you how to tie that knot again. Not really, but we'll go with it. I'll show you in a few seconds the importance of the bead. Okay, so again, I'm going to take the heavier of the 2 braids, okay? This being 65-pound braid. This being, I'm going to say that's probably 30-pound braid. Again, just a simple clinch knot, 6 times. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Again, I can't see what I'm doing because I'm not going to say I'm blind, but you know the deal. Can see 100 miles away, but can't see an inch. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, through the loop. It's just like when you're a kid learning to tie your shoes. Okay, pull that through there. There's 1 tag end. I'll tell you, and one of the most, I think, infuriating is a little bit harsh of a term, but one of the most aggravating things in fishing is tying a knot. Okay, especially in the middle of the night or when your hands are freezing cold. I'm doing all of this in a nice warm environment and you can still see it's sort of not time consuming, but and voila, again, Godzilla's not going to break that knot. And then I just take my scissors here. Hey, I almost cut the main line, see? Okay. And we'll just glue this up a tad. Glue that up. Okay. Succeed, you try again. Okay, so, like I was saying, for the sake of this demonstration, this is a bare spool. Now I'm going to show you the knot that I would tie, or what I would do to get it on this spool. Again, for the sake of demonstration. So what I would do here is I would just make a small overhand knot. I'll use this piece of, so you just make a small overhand knot. Again, folks, very frustrating. Okay, so now I got my overhand knot. And I use this system also to use on my reels when I go regular fishing. So now you got your overhand knot. You just slide that line right in there. Now look what you got. Just an adjustable slide right there. Okay, so now what I would do is take this and I'd cinch it on here like so. Now, if you cinch this on here, okay, and it spins, all you got to do is turn this around. If it spins, it's telling you it doesn't want to be on there, so don't force it on, okay? You just turn it around like so, and now you're ready to go. For the sense of demonstration, we had just put this on, and now you're ready to go. One big rookie mistake is people will put on their line the opposite way. That's why I say, so just imagine. So you just made 4, 5, 6, 7 turns. Now hook up your flag, and a flag is like a gun. Never look down the barrel because you're going to get this in your face. And when it's 6 below 0, when you get one of these to the face, trust me, it hurts. You will cry. Okay, so now everybody's clear. I pull this, voila. So now I know that I put my line on in the right direction. Okay, so now I'm going to cinch up the mechanism to the arm, and I'm ready to go. Now I normally would take that, off of the reel, but for some strange reason, it just does not want to cooperate today. So, and I don't really feel like breaking that reel, although I've caught more stripers. I mean, and I'm talking big fat stripers. Okay. And what I like to do, this white line, okay, when your flag goes up, a lot of times, you know, when your flag goes up, you don't know what's down there. It could be a 4-inch perch. It could be a 4-pound largemouth. So when you get up to the hole, if you can look down the hole and you can see your line in the hole, that's a big advantage. So that's why I like to use mostly a whitish, and again, folks, Dacron, braid, wax-coated line, lead core line, good. Mono, bad. You do not want to do this with mono. You'll get away with it for a little while, but then what's going to happen is that mono is going to get memory, and every time you drop it down there, it's going to pop off, and when you hook a fish, you're going to have what they call in the industry a bird's nest. I like to call it a Chinese noodle fest, because it's going to look like Chinese noodle all over the place. And I will tell you, folks, that fishing at times can be stressful. Okay, so now I've recycled that braid. Okay, I'm down to this is 30-pound catfish line that I use as my filler for stripers. I have gotten down to this line a couple of times over the years, but that's another story for another day. So let me snip this. and we'll get to the business. And that hand, okay. I'm sorry, folks, I'm a little unorganized. This, again, did I tell you that this is the first episode? So now, here's where the bead comes in. And what I like to do with the bead. Now, the bead has a couple of different, in my theories, the bead has a couple of different meanings. And my favorite color of bead is white. And you might say, why would you like a white bead? Okay, well, I'm going to tell you why. What color is a fish's eyeball? White. So, when you have your shiner on here, and you have your bead here, again, I'll show you. Just let me cut this old knot off. And you don't ever want to put the bead in your mouth, because if you put the bead in your mouth, I guarantee you, you will swallow one. I won't tell you how I know that, but I think you can put two and two together. We're all intelligent people here. Again, all right, so now I put this bead on here, and a lot of people, I myself, I like to put the bead on, okay? And then what I like to do, instead of using weight, okay, my swivel here is my weight, okay? It already, okay, so again, I will cut this off. Now, can you put little split shots on here? Of course you can. Just check with your local regulations, because in a lot of states, lead is illegal. New Hampshire, lead is illegal. Do not get caught, because I believe it's a $79.50 fine that you do not want to pay to the state of New Hampshire. It's also illegal in Maine. Massachusetts, I believe lead is legal, but again, I would check. And again, yeah, so let me get this old knot off here. I should have already had this prepared. Again, I apologize. One of the worst things is getting a braid knot off. So, again, now, like I said, I only use whenever you're fishing in any situation, the smallest gear you can get away with, terminal gear, the better off you're going to be. Because big fish get big for a reason. They're hard to fool. So now, what I do, I like to, and you know, you watch the television show and some professional is going to make some knot that you need to go to surgeon school to tie. Folks, simple is good, okay? I've been using this knot for over 50 years. I know I don't look like I'm over 50, but this knot, am I going to say it's never going to fail? No, I'm never going to say that, because you don't know. But it's very simple. Again, 6 is the magic number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're going to ask me why 6 is the magic number. Well, if you make too many loops, you're going to weaken the line. Although this is braid, so you could probably put 100 and it's not going to weaken. But I've got a monofilament imagination right here. Okay, now cinch that up. Okay. And we're just going to cut this. Voila. And now, I don't glue that, because you sort of want to have a little play there. You see that? You want this to spin under load. And when I say under load, that's this end. Okay? Underload means the size of the fish that just engulfed this. So you have a 2-pound fish, if it does not underload, not a big deal. You have an 8-pound fish, you want this to spin independently. Don't cheap on your swivels, folks, because if you cheap on your swivels, you will be going back to the dock upset and or crying. I have seen grown men cry over losing fish. Again, you can read between the lines. Okay, now back to my bead. The bead is an attractant to that fish, but it also is you can use it as, a lot of people use beads as depth markers. Me, I don't, very, very rarely will I fish over 12 feet, okay? And the reason for that is, in my mind, I'm not a biologist or anything, but 80% of trophy fish are caught in 12 foot of water or less. If you catch some fish in water over 25 feet, if you don't eat them, they're gonna die. So I sort of like to stay in that 8, 12 foot zone. Now, am I gonna say that there's no fish in 1 foot of water? Of course I'm not gonna say that. Am I gonna say that there's no fish in 100 foot of water? Of course I'm not gonna say that. But when I get out of my car to go fishing and drill those holes, because drilling holes is not an easy thing, I want to be confident that I know that there's going to be fish there, okay? Again, if you watch television and you see the shows, I could show you in the book the price of some fish finders that go through the ice, and, you know, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. To some people, that's a semester in college for their child. And here, we like to keep things simple. Okay, so basically, I've covered the safety aspect, getting through the ice, keeping your bait good, because good bait, and again, this is another situation, very important, because bait regulations vary from state to state. If you go to New York, you can't bring your own live bait. If you go to Maine, you can't bring your own live bait. So before you go anywhere, check the rules and the regulations. ATVs, I know a lot of guys, they have ATVs. I'm one of them. I love to use my ATV out on the ice. A lot of states don't have reciprocity, meaning if you go to their state with your ATV, make sure that it's registered and legal. The last thing you want to do is have law enforcement ruin your day when it's 100% your fault. Okay, so I think that we can wrap that up for today. I believe next Saturday, we'll be making a trip up to Sabattis, Maine, infamous and a famous Northern Pike Lake. Ice conditions also, always play a key. If we make it there, I'll give you a little history on Sabattis Lake. It was stocked illegal many, many, many years ago. I had nothing to do with it, by the way. But in my line of work, every lake should have Northern Pike in it. Okay, so remember, folks, here at the Trash, fishing makes people happy, and happy people live longer. Thanks for watching. Alrighty, so at the end of the show, I'm gonna sort of express my gratitude to the people who got me into this in the first place. My dad, thanks. My grandfather, thanks. My grandfather bought me my first fishing rod, 6 years old. Had an argument with my grandmother over fishing rods at 6 years old. And my father, I'd like to say thanks just for taking me fishing when I was a kid. It all starts when you're a kid, okay? With that being said, next week, soliloquy will most likely be about one of my television heroes who unfortunately passed away in a plane crash years ago, the late great Jose Iwebe. Thank you for watching.